How are we doing there, boys and girls? Manthieus here, and welcome back to another video. So, considering everybody is very aware at this point, if you've spent any time on YouTube at least, you'll be probably aware of Student Albatross and his 0 to 10 million gold guide. But after doing a little bit of digging, there's nobody really out there that's taken a look at it in any detail and decided, well, is it any good? There is a bit of a meme that floats around with this, 50% off with code Shadowlands. I just want to start the video by saying that firstly, Student didn't ask me to do this. Secondly, Student doesn't know that I've done this, although he might have an indication considering I did buy the book. Thirdly, there is no discount, no promo code in the description from myself. This is entirely my own personal opinions, not influenced by anybody else. But I thought for the good of the community, considering so many people have been, had this or at least seen this put up in front of them in a video, it might be time to take a little bit of a look through it in a bit of detail and see, well, is it worth picking up? The first thing I'm going to point out in this video is, although that you can see it on screen right now, I'm not going to go through all of it because that's a real dick move. What I'm going to do is I'll skip to a few things that are sort of, it doesn't expose too much in it, but will give you an indication of whether it's something that's worthwhile picking up. The first thing I'll say is that it is actually pretty comprehensive. I've read through all of it, I've looked through all of it. A lot of it is, it just goes into specific methods on where to farm certain things from, which you'd kind of expect from a guide that is very much tailored towards the farming aspect of gold making in World of Warcraft. But let's take a quick look at the table of contents for it to give you guys an indication of, if you go and pick this up, what does it actually entail. For the most part, like I said, it's focusing on farming. You can see that we're farming materials, talks about skinning, herbalism, mining. It talks about some group farms that you can do, solo farms that you can do. There's a whole section that's dedicated to transmog farming that we'll talk about in a little bit. Some simple material crafting. An interesting one, crafted transmog. This is something that's less focused on from a strictly farming and transmog sort of aspect. But crafted transmog, there are a few people out of there, one that you'll get introduced to if you do pick up this book, that have made tens of millions of gold through just crafting transmog items, using the professions, using the past expansion profession items, which still, let's be fair, their appearance is quite cool. People like to pick those up and list them on the auction house and hopefully make a bunch of gold from doing it. But like I said at the very beginning, this is very much tailored towards the farmers out there. But why is that good then? What's good about this little 0 to 10 million gold guide? Well, it's almost foolproof. That's the best thing about it. It's all about dedicating time to what you're doing. I want to see if I can find the slide that talked about it in a little bit of detail. I can't remember exactly which slide it was. I should have made some better notes for this. But the point being is that it talks about in a lot of cases that if you enjoy it, keep doing it, keep pushing forward, which is a good approach to have. And it also goes into stating that it's very realm specific and it's all basically based on a gold per hour. Now, if you're farming items, you probably want to be focusing on whatever it is you can do that's going to generate you the most amount of stuff in the smallest amount of time. So if you actually want to go from 0 to 10 million, this is not a get rich quick system. This is a guide that is going to give you multiple different things to potentially go out and farm, but it still puts a lot of emphasis on you to actually, work out which one's the most valuable, which one your realm and your economy might be in short supply of. Teaches you how to work out which ones are in high supply, and so you can make an educated decision from there. It's quite good in terms of the fact that it gives you the guidance that may be needed to start your gold making adventure, but doesn't give you just a straight up step by step do this and you'll be you'll hit gold cap. That's never going to happen. But it does cover things in a lot of detail. And I'm going to be honest, it was the detail in this that surprised me. Even as far as going to things like macros that might be useful for the purpose of targeting different. If you're out doing a specific farm that's killing the same thing, making it hyperspawn frequently, you've got some cool little macros that are in there before it goes into then detail about the specific farms itself. It will have a skinning section. Within the skinning section, without giving too much away, it will focus on a couple of zones that maybe you should go and investigate, what you're killing in those zones. Short, sweet, to the point, not really messing about, exactly what you need to get up and running. Let's navigate a little bit further through. Trying my best to not, give too much of the guide away, because of course it is something that if you really want to get all of the juiciness, you should probably go and take a little bit of a look yourself. But obviously I'm here to try and sort of explain to you whether it's worth doing or not. It then goes into things like group farms and solo farms. Now, of course, group farms are a little bit more organized content, but in turn, they're going to turn a greater potential gold per hour, but it's usually going to rely on you finding probably 4, maybe up to 7 other willing people to all jump in a couple of groups together, but there's lots of group farms for this as well. A lot of it focuses on the generic stuff that you'll be aware of. Things like Primal Fire, for example. It is absolutely no secret that Primal Fire is A, relatively valuable, B, in somewhat of a demand because it goes into crafting a lot of this past expansion crafted transmog, which we said we'd talk about in a little bit later. And it's real simple, real idiot proof. Go here, kill these, you'll get roughly 100 primals, and then there's a little video to accompany it, presumably linking back to some of students' past videos to give you a heads up to exactly what you can expect to see when you get out there. It's pretty good, I'm not going to lie. It's I'm going to admit there's not a huge amount, and I'm sure Student will say this himself, there's not a huge amount in here that couldn't easily be found by, doing a bit of searching on Wowhead or WoW Professions or something like that. But the key to that is knowing what you're searching for. This has got everything in one spot, and it's all pretty much good to go and ready. It talks about transmog selling fundamentals. I don't think this page gives too much away. It also tries to re-emphasize the fact that transmog, for example, is a market that's a slow-selling market. A lot of people claim that transmog doesn't sell. I have my own opinions on transmog, but my own opinions don't really matter for the purpose of this. I'm trying to be relatively critical to what's in this guide, but it's good in terms of indicating the fact that yes, you're going to need a lot of transmog before you're going to start to see consistent sales. One thing it says, student writes in this a lot, is that gold making is a time-consuming process. If you want to do it for 10 minutes and get rich, nah, not going to happen. You need to put in a bit of effort to get some good results out of it. So I think that sort of gives you a bit of an overview of what the guide is about. Like I said, I'm cautious to go through it in too much detail because I don't want to give too much of it away. But there are some things that you can, like the dice, for example. This is something that's good to showcase here. Getting access to the dice. This is a toy that's from one of the past expansions. You have to pickpocket on a rogue to get these. There's often periods of time where they're just not on the auction house at all. With that said, if you go out and you pickpocket some of these dudes and you get one of these, you can usually throw it on the auction house. It's probably not going to sell super quickly, but as and when it does sell, it's a nice amount of little gold for you. Like I said, it does go into transmog a little bit, crafted transmog also, and there's even some, let's see what can be easily shown without giving too much away. It even goes into Shadowlands content as well. One thing that I've seen people concerned about with this is whether it actually is going to be super useful for you in Shadowlands, and the easy answer is yes, it is. You've got some pretty basic, pretty simple farming routes for the different materials. That's really the big key I want to get across with this. It's simplistic. It's not overly detailed. It's not overly complicated. It doesn't tell you that you need to use 20 different add-ons, and nor do you need to have a super sophisticated TSM profile to get up and running. It's focused towards being basic, and it pretty much hits the nail on the head. So I think that's about all I'm going to showcase from the actual guide itself in this video, because like I said, I don't particularly want to showcase too much of the actual guide. I'd rather you guys make a educated decision and decide to go pick it up yourself if you wish. But I think it's pretty good. Of course, make sure you are using code Shadowlands to get 50% off, as Student always says in his videos. I'm not affiliated with this at all. I did this entirely off my own back. I have a sneaky suspicion Student expects this video to come out, because I'm almost certain he saw the fact that I bought the guide. But Student, if you watch this, let me know what you thought. Let me know if you think it was justified or not. And either way, I think it's a pretty good guide, so well done. But I'll leave it there for this video, boys and girls. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that this is maybe helpful to you in deciding whether to pick this up or not. For my opinion, it's pretty good. A lot of the information can be found elsewhere, but it's that knowing where to look in the first place and having it all in one section, which is, for many people, well worth the, what was it, like 15 bucks or something, I think it was, to pick it up. But like the video if you enjoyed it, boys and girls. Subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.